Hello and welcome to I Talk to Ghosts, the podcast that truly believes that love is in the scare. I'm your haunted host, Jennifer, a spirit medium and a collector of ghost stories. Valentine's Day is quickly approaching, and what better time to share ghostly tales of broken hearts, of spirits who warn others of tragic doom and love lost, or ghosts that linger to haunt the places they found love while living. Not everyone warms to the idea of Valentine's Day, but it isn't difficult to find a darkly romantic ghost story to chill your heart instead. Afterwards, no need to vanish into the night just yet. Let's truly connect loved ones with a spirit reading for this week's podcast guest. And I'll also have a message from the spirits for someone listening to this podcast. Will this message be specifically for you? Mayhaps. That's later on in the episode. But for now, let's find ghostly tales beyond the Valentine's Day veil. The lovelorn spirits are gathering now. In 1979, I was living in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. One night I went out with a group of friends, and we ended up on Litchfield Beach and decided to go for a walk. Around 10 p.m., 6 of us started walking north on the beach. Now, in 1979, this area, unlike now, was fairly isolated. We left behind any light sources as we walked on in the dark. We were just walking along, kicking sand, having fun, when someone said, "Hey, what is that?" We all noticed something that looked like a piece of material blowing in the wind. Maybe a beach towel left on a pole further down the beach, about 100 yards in front of us. We slowed our walking to kind of examine what it was. Then we decided to walk closer, continuing to speculate to each other what we were looking at. Then, almost at once, we stopped. The material wasn't on a pole, and it wasn't hanging from anything. It was fluttering, stationary, in mid-air. I didn't say anything. I was still trying to figure out what it was. Almost collectively, the rest of us were saying things like, "Do you still see that? I don't know what that is." I think for the most part, none of us really believed what we were seeing. No one wanted to go any further. We just stood there, about 75 yards from this billowing shape. At this point, I was kind of scared. You know the feeling when you see something you can't explain and you get goosebumps? The shape, still loosely blowing in the breeze, began to take on more form, the general shape of a head and shoulders. No features, but what it would look like if you draped a very light cloth or a blanket over a mannequin. And from the bottom of the cloth to the sandy ground, there was nothing. It was floating 3 or 4 feet in the air. Where you would expect to see an arm on the figure, the shape moved outward, as if its arm was motioning for us to leave. When it motioned a second time, we knew that it meant it. All 6 of us pivoted in our tracks and ran. Back at the parking lot, we were gathered around and chattering about what we had just seen. An older man approached, having overheard us, which wasn't difficult considering how excited we were. He said that there was no reason to be afraid. It was the Gray Man. Then the man said, "You know, there's a storm coming." None of us had ever heard of the Gray Man, and we figured maybe this guy was joking. But then he began to tell us the story of a man known to locals as the Gray Man. This man is said to have been returning from war to marry his lifelong sweetheart when a storm surge hit the beach, and he was knocked from his horse, sustaining a broken neck and dying there in the surf. 2 nights later, when his love was walking the beach, he appeared to her in an attempt to warn her away from the coast due to a hurricane's approach. And to this day, locals say he appears before a storm to warn others against hurricane surges. At that point, we really knew what the motioning arm meant. It was warning us to leave, just as he had warned his love all those years ago. Later, after we arrived back at Myrtle Beach, a torrential downpour started. The streets were flooded, and we pulled into a gas station to wait for the storm to pass. While this storm was strong, a week or so later, the entire beach area was evacuated for a hurricane. In 1985, I was an active member in the Moose Lodge in Jamestown, New York. On Thursday evenings, I played cards with my brother and other friends at the lodge. We usually played in the dining room on the first floor, but when we had less players, we would play in the basement. On one particular night, I arrived and went directly to the dining room to meet my friends, only to find the dining room empty. They were playing in the basement. I took off my jacket and placed it over a chair in the dining room before heading downstairs to join the game. Besides the main stairway from the entrance to the first floor, there was also a back stairway from the dining room to the basement level. I proceeded down those back stairs to the basement. We played cards for about 3 hours until 1 a.m. As everyone started leaving, I remembered my jacket upstairs. Everyone else began leaving through the main entrance. I went up those back stairs again to the dining room, got my jacket, and proceeded back down the stairs. And on the landing, I came face to face with a ghost. She just stood there looking at me, hovering silently in the dim evening light. I was speechless. She was transparent white and glowing, and appeared to be as startled as I was. Suddenly, the space where we were standing became cold, freezing cold. Then she appeared to be silently calling me to follow her. I couldn't move. I stood there for a while. Then my thoughts came back to me, and I turned and ran downstairs and outside to join my friends. I explained what happened, and my friends told me I had just met Grace. Grace Laverne Galloway was the only daughter born into the wealthy Galloway family. Her father, John Galloway, had made his fortune in oil in Pennsylvania. They had lived in the mansion that is now the Moose Club in Jamestown, where we happened to be gaming that night. Tragically, Grace died at the tender age of 26. Local tales say that she died an untimely death of a young bride. They say that her ghost can be seen roaming the cemetery on dark and foggy nights, crying for her lost love. Or some whispered she had died of a broken heart, of her forbidden love as a rich heiress who had fallen in love with her chauffeur. After her death, the family commissioned an artist in Italy to sculpt a statue modeled after the likeness of Grace. When it became evident that the statue would eventually succumb to the elements, it was encased in glass. The life-size lady in the glass case still remains in the Lakeview Cemetery in Jamestown, not far from the mansion where I heard her story. And many tales, most of them swirling with romantic notions of lost love and heartbreak, still haunt the places Grace once lived. Are you enjoying your ghostly visit? If so, please follow, like, comment, and share. The ghosts may be talkative, but they are lousy at marketing, so every click helps. Tell your friends, and please leave a kind review so that others might join us. The spirits and I thank you. Hello, and welcome back to I Talk to Ghosts. My podcast guest this evening is Emily. Emily, welcome to your spirit reading. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing smashing. Yes, let's call it that. It's happy February. It's my birthday month. I'm excited, and I'm so happy to do this reading for you today.
Well, happy early birthday to you.
Thank you. Okay. So you may have heard me mention this on the podcast, but I have my page of notes for you here because I like to ground and center before I meet online so that, you have that quiet time and space without any time restriction or having someone staring at you, but things could continue to appear and present themselves as we talk as well. But I do want to go over my notes with you. And are you ready to get started?
I'm so ready. Let's do it.
Okay. Let me see. So the person who is coming in for me, they spoke a lot about some burdens in life. It could be related to how they passed. Was it trying for them? I'm just trying to, it's like,
Yeah.
It was?
It was sudden, but
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Because sometimes it's like I'm given a symbol or a sign for something, and then I get into translation mode, and the translation is sometimes where I get hung up on because it's like, no, you're not interpreting that right. Go ahead.
Could the burden have been an illness that they didn't die
Absolutely.
from? Yeah. So this person did die suddenly, like about less than a year ago, but they
Mm-hmm.
had cancer, which was
Mm-hmm.
a heavy burden, and they had like immense pain throughout their body for the rest of
Okay.
their life. Yeah.
Okay. All right. But see, that's where it's like, don't translate, just deliver.
Yeah.
It seemed like an ordeal. Like there was just a lot of heaviness there, and just like like I said, like it was a burden. It was a challenge and a difficulty, and so that makes sense. So who is this person who died recently from?
My friend Amanda passed away less than a year ago.
Okay. Okay. Maybe there are a few things that I can connect with her. Did she like to sing at all?
Yeah, I mean, she loved to do anything.
Okay.
Yeah. She was sunshine. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. Sunshine was another symbol that I was kind of seeing a bit. And just like I'm seeing passion and energy for
Yep.
things, and yeah, singing is like a great personification of that.
Yes, she in the caring for others, like, she would drive 5 hours one way if you needed her at the drop of a hat. Like, I almost, like, didn't believe her when we became friends. Like, I was like, this is a joke, right? Like, this person isn't this wonderful." And so I kind of, like,
Yeah,
blew her off in the beginning because I was like, "I don't trust
sure.
this," you know? And
Right.
then
It's like, what's the catch?
what's the
What's the
catch?
motivation underneath?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Oh.
I kinda laugh about it now because, like, she became, like, pure sunshine in my life, and we had just started to become, like, closer, and,
Hmm.
had I known our last hug was our last hug, I woulda held on a little longer, you know? She's that kind of person that even in death, I'm sure she's totally fine.
Uh-huh.
Like, yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, laughing. Yeah, it seemed like celebration seemed like a theme that was really important to her.
Yes.
Like everything was a celebration. Everything,
Everything.
everything was worth that focus of like, let's throw a parade, let's throw a party. Oh my God, this
Yes.
is so amazing. This is just something to celebrate. Everything, yeah. And that's
Everything.
such wonderful energy to be around, because the world has enough doom and gloom, right? And
100%.
yeah, she really gave off the impression that she just radiated, joy and positivity. And I think she, obviously she still does. The other person who was coming in for me seemed a lot more gentler of a person. They wanted to kind of hang back because they're like, there's someone better suited for this. And I wonder if with that presentation of attitude, if they felt a little out of place in the world, like they weren't built for this world. They saw things differently, and they didn't quite mesh with the way we have to navigate on this planet in our culture sometimes. Can you connect that to someone?
It would be odd for this person to be coming through, but my husband's stepbrother's son died recently, well, in 2020, and he
Uh-huh.
was very gentle, and he was very much that way. Like, his name is Aiden. He's very much that way. Like, he just was built like totally different. The whole family is like that. Like, they're just
Mm-hmm.
gentle, beautiful souls. I
Mm-hmm.
would understand why he would think like this is better suited for someone else because we only met a couple of times.
It makes a lot of sense. It Someone very dreamy kind of was coming in, and like I said, just had a unique way of looking at the world and viewing the
Yeah.
world, and a very gentle soul. And at the very least, you could pass that along, if you're comfortable sharing
Oh,
with the
yeah.
family.
The whole family is very much into this stuff, so, yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I'll let him know that he said hi.
Let me see. Let me look at my notes for just a second. I was getting the sense that it felt very important to them to provide for you. And yeah, you could say that was your friend who has passed, but it seems rather parental to me.
I don't know if it's, like, what energy is coming through, but my husband's grandmother did.
Oh, okay. It
Yeah.
seemed like it was like a big priority that they really wanted to provide for you, and make sure that you had some form of security. Let us talk about your dad. Your dad has passed away?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Did your dad smoke?
Yep.
Because I was getting the scent of cigarettes, and also like kind of like a cedar type smell.
Interesting.
And he also kind of was showing me like a whole bunch of gears and stuff. And kind of like the best I can describe it is kind of like the inside of a watch.
Well, he fixed cars,
Okay.
so could that be the reference?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cars came up. Cars came up. And I usually like dismiss that because it's so stereotypical. But
Yeah.
yeah.
He loved cars. He loved cars.
Yes, the car thing was definitely coming in. And yeah, just the mechanics of it and the how things worked.
Yes. He owned an auto body shop for many years when I was a kid.
This is his personality. He looked at things logically because like he didn't want to make the wrong choice with things.
Yeah. I'm not sure. We weren't super close. He was highly emotional though. So maybe
Mm.
when he was making decisions, he tried to back out logically, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The first thing I wrote down here is, oh, you can't really see it.
No,
Emotional.
yeah.
And then underneath that, it's like logical because he didn't want to make the wrong choice. He couldn't afford,
That
um,
checks out. Yeah.
yeah, he
Yeah.
couldn't afford the emotional response. Did he put like structures in place in other ways? Like, did he have routines and stuff?
Yeah, he was like very structured about like cleaning the house and going to the grocery store and like the way he dressed and stuff like that. Like he was very regimented with that stuff and he did
Hmm.
not like it when anything interrupted his flow.
I think he kind of wants to acknowledge how did he have a tendency to maybe fixate
Yeah,
a little too much and miss the good details sometimes. I think he just wants to acknowledge that, gosh, look at the big picture of things and seek out the good things, not so much the problems.
100% his personality. Like everything was a big deal, everything was a problem. He like couldn't see like the joy in anything. Like we'd go on vacation and everything was an issue. So like the whole vacation would end up just being like miserable because he would just get so wrapped up in like
Yeah,
the little things. Like if things were not exactly how he wanted them, it was like there was hell to pay.
yeah. Like you're right in front of the Grand Canyon, and I've got a paper cut. Let me fixate on the paper cut,
A
right?
100%. Yeah. And I found myself being that way. So just
Yeah,
recently in the past couple of years, I've been like, it's okay. Like you're
yeah.
having fun, like,
I think that's why he brought it up because he doesn't. He wants to encourage you to unravel that and let that go.
oh, good.
Parents or people in general can be a great example of how not to be, you
That's
know?
what he was. And I've just been breaking generational curses, like just really doing the work and like trying to heal my family line because I don't think he knew any other way to be.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
have the knowledge to not be that way. So it's my responsibility to adjust the way that I approach life.
yeah,
So
yeah. Good on you. You
thank
are
you.
ahead of the game.
I'm trying so hard. Yeah.
There's just this acknowledgement there that, that he regrets that and the encouragement that you are doing good work and self-support and self-care are just so key.
That all makes sense.
Okay. I do have a final message for you that I wrote down from the universe and those involved.
Oh,
Um, yeah, wow, this is appropriate. Don't let challenges and difficulties rob you of seeing the beauty and wonder of things,
oh, interesting.
and that they're proud of you. Keep going, explore, manifest, and there's talk of like cultivating a skill or manifesting an opportunity and like developing it. Is that something that like,
Oh, I just got full body chills. Yeah, I'm writing a children's book series and I've been sitting on it for like 12 years and I finally just said, you know what? Like it's time. So I've been sending it out to publishers and literary agents. That might be what you're talking about.
absolutely. And I also wrote down like play with abandon, be playful with it, be curious about it. You know, you're right. So many times we hold back to protect ourselves from disappointment, but then we stop ourselves completely, right? So just
Yeah.
go forward, visualize it as if it's already there. and you're just catching up to it. So yeah, use your voice, shine bright, and just touch people's lives and share that with people. That's so important.
Oh, thank you so much. I keep this keeps getting like confirmed for me over and over and over again, and I just keep hearing like, just be patient, like it's coming, just be patient, it's coming. And so it's
Absolutely.
good to hear it also from you that
Yeah,
it's coming.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for meeting with me today. So many people came through in a variety of different ways, and lovely, lovely messages there.
Yes, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You are so welcome.
Book a medium reading with me. If you have a past loved one you would like to connect with, a spirit reading can be an amazing and never spooky experience. I strive to give you specific details that align only to you and your loved ones. Curious? Visit italktoghosts.com for links to book with me. I can't wait to meet you.
Hello and welcome back to I Talk to Ghosts. I have a message from the spirits this evening for someone listening to the podcast. Now, to prepare for this, I grounded and centered and meditated for a little bit to create a space for a spirit to come close. And this evening, I am getting the sense that someone's grandmother is with me. And she tells me that you'll be able to know it's her because she loved the color purple. She wore purple all the time, and she even had a purple car. She also tells me that she was burdened with a lot of health problems at the end, and that you helped take care of her, and she really wants to express her gratitude about that. As well as she sees that you aren't having medical problems right now, but you are going through a difficult time in your life right now. And she wants to offer you support and encouragement that you are doing the right things, and just be diligent, just stay on task. You will get through this, and she is here for you. And the last message she has for you is that she sends you signs. She loves to put white feathers in your path. So if you've ever noticed these or even connected those with her, believe it, and it's true. And she's sending you that little token of support and hope, and with the message that she is still with you, and she loves you so very much. I think I'm going to leave it at that. If this message connects for you, please reach out and I would love to know. Thank you. And with that, dear listener, we've reached the end of this episode of I Talk to Ghosts. I hope you've enjoyed the lovely ghosty tales I shared with you this evening. Are you a lover of Valentine's Day, or would you rather see it as a Gothic, romantic second Halloween? I would love to know what you think. In the meantime, wherever you wander off to in this world or the next, just remember, come back and visit with me. Have a lovely evening and good night.